Hi, welcome to CISSP Nights YouTube channel. Please subscribe it. Let's proceed to our daily questions. Which of the following database types is typically used by DNS servers? A relational database, object-oriented database, host files database, or hierarchical database? So DNS uses hierarchical database. Typically used by DNS servers. Some of the tree and store information about how to resolve IP addresses to domain names. Okay, let's proceed. Which of the following best describes an SLA, service level agreement? A removable media storage device, an organization which studies and develops data encryption methodology, a contract between service provider and customer in which the level of service is formally defined, a protocol used for the transmission of voice traffic over the internet. So basically SLA is a contract. Okay, it is contract between a service provider and a customer in which level of service is firmly defined. Let's see the next one. The following is an example of inference, which means to obtain some information. Obtaining physical access to a database server and using the management application installed there to view sensitive information, combining an individual's street address, inserting SQL code into a web form to gain access to restricted data. Option D is reducing a patient's illness based on information about that patient's prescriptions. Yes, that's the answer. Yeah. So basically, it's the ability to reduce potentially sensitive information based on the available information. For example, a person who works in medical billing might be able to take out the health condition of a particular patient based on the medical services and prescriptions being billed to that patient. He can know to see that, let's say, medicines about the illness of that patient. So we can get maximum information about a person. Which of the following laws is a Counterterrorism Act which expanded the ability of US law enforcement to use electronic monitoring techniques with less judicial oversight? So how we have given more rights or more privileges to US law enforcement agencies? Is it the US Patriot Act? Is it the HIPAA, ECPA, or GLBA? ECPA has been overshadowed by US Patriot Act. HIPAA, as we all know, is related to the health information about the patients. GLBA is used by the financial institutions. So select A. That's the answer. Yes. US Patriot Act of 2001 is a counterterrorism act which expanded the ability of US law enforcement agencies to use electronic monitoring techniques with less judicial oversight. It was passed in response to September 11, 2011 terrorist attack against the US. Okay, ECPA was designed to protect electronic communications such as internet traffic from illegal wiretapping techniques. It protects mostly the telephony system. However, it was overshadowed by US Patriot Act of 2001. US Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act is designed to protect the confidentiality of private health information. It contains both a privacy section and a security section. And main aim is to prevent the unauthorized disclosure of private health information. And it lists up specific requirements for the handling of personal health information. GLBA is a law which protects the confidentiality and integrity of personal information which is collected by financial institutions. It also requires that financial institutions disclose their privacy practices to their customers. So it is very important question. Let's move. A company which currently uses FTP to transfer files. The company wants to upgrade to a file transfer solution which offers confidentiality and integrity. Which of the following we recommend? Remote shell, remote copy, TFTP, SSH. Yes, we should go for SSH because this is the only file transfer solution here which is offering more security. We recommend SSH as the best alternative to FTP. RCP used to remotely copy files. Okay. Well, RSH protocol enables users to remotely execute shell commands on another computer. Let's move. These following steps come latest in the development of business continuity plan, develop IT contingency plan, recovery strategies, conduct a business impact analysis, identify preventive controls. So we go for A. Yes, so we should know the 7 steps of BCP development process. Okay. This is also one of the most important questions. Let's move. A company has asked you to upgrade their internet connectivity. After some consideration, you decided to implement T-Online. Which of the following best describes WAN technology? T-Online is always a circuit switch WAN. Yes, it's a dedicated circuit reserved for the exclusive use of the two endpoints. It has a fixed reliable bandwidth. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Here the following redundant array of independent disks. RAID levels provide striping for a set of mirror disks. Is it RAID 0? Is it RAID 4, RAID 10, or RAID 3? Provide striping for a set of mirror disks. Okay, 3 and 4 are for basically checking the integrity, parity bit level checking at the byte level check or block level. So we go for RAID 10. Yes. RAID 10 is an example of nested RAID. It's an encapsulation of one RAID level into another RAID level. Okay. So if the one disk is lost on each mirror set, the data must be restored from backup. RAID 0 does not provide mirroring. RAID 0 uses striping, which is a method of writing data across multiple hard disks to increase the performance. RAID 1 provides fault tolerance by using mirroring, but it does not provide increased write performance. So mirroring is exact duplication of data on one disk to one or more other disks. So RAID 1 is also known as a mirrored set. RAID 3 and RAID 4 use parity to provide fault tolerance. The parity means you check whether data has been lost or written over when data is moved from one storage location to another. Used to provide fault tolerance. RAID 3 stripes data at the byte level. RAID 4 stripes data at the block level. Okay, and both RAID 3 and RAID 4 require at least 3 disks to function. and they each dedicate one entire disk for parity. So if one disk fails in RAID 3 RAID 4 array, the data can be recovered. Data should be restored from the backup. Okay. Which of the following terms best describes a memory protection technique which can mitigate confidentiality attacks by logically segregating processes? Hardware segmentation, no. Write once, read many storage, process isolation, swapping. Go for C. Yes. Okay. All others are not the memory protection techniques. Even if it is hardware segmentation, either it is swapping or it is a warm storage. Okay. Let's move to the next one. Is the following statement best describes the PAT? Maintains a pool of public IP addresses and assigns them to devices with private IP addresses. PAT translates private IP addresses to public one-on-one. It is a static net. It translates multiple private IP addresses to a single public IP address. Translates the source destination port of packet but does not translate the source or destination IP address. No, let's choose option C and see the answer. Yeah. PAT translates multiple private IP addresses to a single public IP address. It's also referred to as net overloading. Okay, then we have static nets, which maintains a permanent one-on-one mapping between a private IP address and a public IP address. Dynamic net maintains a pool of public IP addresses and assigns them to device with private IP address on as needed basis. So when communication session ends or closes, the public IP addresses are placed back into the pool and are again made available for the assignment. Okay. Let's move to the next one. What is the primary purpose of Faraday cage? To block electromagnetic signals, to keep unauthorized individuals out of a restricted area, to trap malicious users, to secure a server. The main purpose is to block electromagnetic signals. Yes, the primary purpose of Faraday cage is to block electromagnetic signals. It's also known as the Faraday shield. And it cannot secure a server or trap malicious users or keep unauthorized individuals out of a restricted area. Which of the following best describes an access control principle which requires a user have no more access to a resource than what's required to do that user's job? Users have no more access to a resource. Need to know. Now, need to know is used for higher like CIO, CFO, CEO level managers to access data. Compartmentalization, least privilege, suppression of data. So yes, it should be least privilege. Yes, users have no more access to a resource than what is required to do that user's job. So its principle protects the system by creating a restricted environment in which no user has the ability to perform any function which is not part of that user's job. Okay. Let's move to the next one. The following function relies on the NTP protocol that we all know. Encapsulation, synchronizing time across a network. Okay. Basically, synchronize the time on network devices. Which are the following security standards based on British Standard 7799 and is focused on security governance? Whenever the word comes security governance, the answer is always 27001. Is it ISO 17799, which is now 27002, or 27001, or COBIT, control objects for information related technology, or ISO 27002. So basically 001 is focused on security governance. Yes, this is very important one. You should all know it is actually security standard based on 7799, focused on security governance. Security governance is the process of directing and controlling IT security. Okay, it also defines the standard for creating information security management system, ISMS, which is a system which is designed to provide governance for IT security. 17799 and 2702 are based on BS7799. However, both of them are not focused on security governance. However, they define security objectives and provides a list of security controls which are based on industry best practices. Okay. So 17799, it became 27002, which has following 14 objectives. Okay, our COBIT is an IT management framework created by Information Systems Audit and Control Association and the IT Governance Institute. It has 4 domains: planning and organization, acquisition and implementation, delivery and support, monitoring and evaluation. So COBIT is typically used by security architects to provide an example of the minimum security requirements of any organization. So standard which is focused on security governance is 27001. Let's move. A company wants to back up critical data to an off-site facility. The data should be backed up every hour. Cost is a consideration. However, all data must be kept secure. Which of the following methods are you most likely to implement? Database shadowing, electronic vaulting, remote journaling, active clustering. Let's see the answer. Electronic vaulting. Oh yes, it says backed up every hour and the cost should be taken care of. So electronic vaulting involves transmitting bulk data to an off-site backup storage facility. It can be backed up weekly, daily, or hourly. Okay. So you are not likely to implement remote journaling because it involves sending database transaction logs to a remote location. And transaction logs can be used to recover from a database failure. If the database fails, the database can be rolled back to the most recent checkpoint. Okay, however, it requires more time to restore a database than database shadowing. It also cannot be active clustering, which is also known as load balancing, which requires multiple systems running in parallel. All of the servers in active cluster can process requests, and active clusters are useful for serving high traffic websites which are accessed by many users simultaneously. So yeah, we will use electronic vaulting. Whenever we have to back up critical data to an off-site facility, data should be backed up every hour. Cost is a consideration, and all the data must be kept secure. Okay, thank you for the day.